Okay. Let the attendees also join. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Namrata Bajaj from Industrial University, welcome our powerful women speakers today, Miss Isha and Miss Mamta, who are going to address how they have reached to this pinnacle at very young age and giving message to all the women entrepreneurs of India, especially when we have a setup where it is very difficult for us to break the glass ceiling. And at that time, these two young, powerful ladies have not only handled their family business, but post marriage, they have continued their skills, entrepreneurship skills in their in-laws business as well, husband's business as well. So now I quickly, without wasting time, I'll just, for the sake of the audience, there are a set of instructions that please do drop in your question answers in a Q&A box or chat box, and we'll be handling those Q&As at the end of the address by both the speakers. As well, please see to it that you identify your name and to the speaker with whom you are posing the question. Further to this, every participant, please pay attention to what is being said. Every participant will get e-certificate for this webinar, provided they submit the feedback, which will be shared with you all just towards the end of the webinar. As well, it will be displayed for another 30 minutes post this session. So please see to it that I shouldn't be getting, this question that whether we should get e-certificate or not. Better you ask questions, pay attention to that, and we'll get a lot of information, a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration, and you will definitely be confident enough to start up your own innovation and your own business also. So now I welcome each and everyone today, starting with Miss Isha. Welcome, madam. Industrial University welcomes you. I also welcome another speaker today, Miss Mamta Lodha Kothari. Welcome, madam. And it's turn for Bharti madam and another panelist, Dr. Amish Vyas, Mr. Vijojo, he is coordinating this. And this is actually a webinar in association with Asian Institute of Family Managed Business also. So we welcome every audience here who have joined, and especially all our female students as well as female participants who have joined this webinar. So over to Bharti madam for brief introduction of IU.
Anushri. Yeah, so I welcome you all to this webinar. Next slide, please. Just to give you a very brief introduction on the profile of our university. As you might not be knowing, a source of inspiration behind establishing this university. You can say we are into the third year. It is really a very small and a beautiful university. So the source of our inspiration is Shri Indravardhan Bhai Modi, who was the founder chairman of Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. And he was popularly known as the medicine man of India, a core nationalist at heart. And he believed that medicines should be affordable and should reach to the poorest of the poor of the society. And this care is still being continued at our Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. So our university was established as a philanthropic initiative of our beloved founding chancellor, Dr. Rajiv Modi, in loving memory of his parents, Shri Indravardhan Bhai Ambalal Modi and Srimati Sheelaben Modi, laid the foundation stone of Kerala Pharmaceuticals in 1951. And from their names, the name of our university has been derived. So to honor the legacy of care and compassion, the university's governing body and Dr. Modi are determined to transform this university into a hallmark of global academic excellence, both in terms of teaching as well as in terms of research. So if you just see to the history of success of a university or Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited, when Cadila Pharmaceuticals was established in 1951, it was in just one small room in one small village of Hasur district. If you know, Shri Indravardhan Bhai Modi used to move around on a cycle, used to ride 30 to 40 kilometers per day, used to market and sell his products on a cycle. And his wife, Sheelaben Modi, was the first employee of Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. And to add to this, she was a source of inspiration to Indravardhan Bhai Modi to first manufacture the indigenous gripe water of our country and which gave smiles to millions of parents across our country. So the first gripe water was manufactured indigenously by Cadila Pharmaceuticals Limited. Next slide, please. So if you see to the milestones of success of our university, as I said, Cadila Pharmaceuticals was established in 1951. The previous one, please. So Cadila Pharmaceuticals, previous slide, was established in 1951. At present, it has its presence in 90 different countries with over 10,000 employees. And now it is one of the largest privately held pharmaceutical company of our country. And it was in 2016 that they initiated an education initiative, which was named as Shri Saraswati Education Foundation. But in 2018, it was Indrashil University, which was established as the first life sciences university of our country. And seeing to the way in which our university was progressing, Niti Aayog, Government of India, supported us with Atal Incubation Center. And with its flagship program, you can say, to encourage the youth of our country to initiate startups and become future entrepreneurs of our country. Again, in 2019, it was the government of Gujarat supported us with Indrashil Innovative Foundation, again with the same objective. And I should say that it is just with last month or two, we were supported by Industries Commissionerate of Gujarat with a nodal agency, again, to support startups and entrepreneurship for future generation of our country. Next slide, please. So at present, we have 3 platforms on which students, if they have an innovative idea, can come to us and initiate and become future entrepreneurs. So the mentor of our university is Dr. J.S. Yadav, a highly qualified credentials, you can say. He is the provost of Indrashil University. He was the former director of Indian Institute of Chemical Technology, which is one of the best CSIR laboratory of our country, located at Hyderabad. He has been awarded with highest level of awards in science which our country offers, to name 2, one of which is Shanti Swarup Patnagar Fellow and J.C. Bose National Fellow. If you see to the number of patents that he has to his credit, it is 150 plus, 1,400 publications in international journals of repute, more than 250 students. At present, we have 11 to 12 students still working with him, and with about 27,000 citations. So the success of any institute, as I always say, depends on its leader. And this is one of the reasons why, as we are into the 3rd year, the reason why our university has progressed beyond certain limits. Next. Next slide, please. So why Indrashil University? The first pillar of our strength is academic excellence. We do not compromise on academics, both in terms of teaching as well as in terms of research, with wonderful, highly qualified faculty that our university has. All of them are PhDs. All of them have a number of years of their postdoctoral experience in not only in one country, but 2 to 3 different countries. As our main objective is to make the students industry ready, we provide enough industrial exposure in terms of their internship. Say, for example, twice in the 3 years of their teaching, 3 years of their course, we provide them placements, we help them for placements. In fact, we have Mr. Vijo Joy, who helps the students for their placements. We focus on overall development of the students, be it curricular, be it co-curricular, or be it extracurricular activities. And we have tried to achieve global academic standards. Next slide. So, under the umbrella of Indrashil University, we have School of Engineering and School of Science. This year, again, we are adding certain more programs. So, School of Engineering is offering BTech in Computer Science and Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, Chemical and Biochemical Engineering. School of Science offers BSc Honours Degree in Chemistry, BSc Honours in Biosciences. The first university in Gujarat to offer an honours degree at an undergraduate level. We offer MS in Chemistry, MS in Animal Biology, MS in Microbiology, as well as PhD in both the programs. And we have tried, as I've said earlier, we have tried to achieve global academic standards. And based on our global academic standards that we have entered into collaboration with 3 foreign universities, one of which is Sacred Heart University, Tuskegee University, both of USA, and University of Newcastle, Australia. So at present, these programs, this collaboration is specifically for students of computer science and engineering, where we have 3+1 scheme. 3 years they would be doing in our university, 1 year at their university, and they would be earning a dual degree, both from our university as well as foreign universities. This, you can say, this collaboration, which has received wide recognition among the students of Gujarat. Next slide. Anuj bhai, next slide. Okay, so we have a very, you can say, highly sophisticated state-of-the-art infrastructure facilities. And I invite, it is a standing invitation for both of you speakers just to visit our university once and to see to the laboratory facilities which are at par to the national laboratories, national government laboratories of our country. So we have highly sophisticated state-of-the-art equipments which are utilized both by our PG students as well as our PhD students. And just to name one equipment, that is NMR. This NMR itself costs around 4.5 to 5 crore rupees. And our university is the first in Gujarat to have NMR, and that also which is available to both UG as well as PG as well as research students. Besides this, we have HPLC, we have a number of equipments, sophisticated equipments, you can name it as IR, FTIR, etc. As I said earlier, we provide 3 platforms for entrepreneurship. We have Atal Incubation Center, we have Indrashil Innovative Foundation, and recently the support from Industries Commissionerate of, you can say, of Gujarat, which has supported us with to become a nodal agency and to develop entrepreneurship to the young students of Gujarat. So here we provide 3 platforms. If they have novel ideas, they can come to us, they can work at the primary level, and then onwards, if, next slide, please. Next slide. And from then onwards, if they want to take up their business to a sustainable level, we help them by providing mentorship. In the sense, we have world-class R&D laboratories. We provide them mentors. These mentors can be from private institutes. They are from our university and from various R&D labs. So we provide 5 crores of rupees as kickstart support. So with this, if anybody has any still more questions about a university, they can visit our website. They can mail the person concerned. Everything is available on the website. And they can even call the person who is responsible for this. Everything, the details are available on the website. Thank you, please. I now hand over this to Dr. Namrata, madam.
Thank you, Dr. Bharti, for this introduction of IU. I hope for the sake of audience and for the sake of speakers, this was enough and complete information. And going with the today's seminar the title, that is Women Entrepreneurs, Consummate Cases of Shattering Glassings, we have 2 speakers before us who are actually accomplished entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. And in the series Women Entrepreneurship Empowerment Series, they are the first speakers, and we are proud to just brief before you the credentials of Ms. Isha Velankar Rao, who actually is director of Ask Precision Engineers Limited. It is imperative and courtesy to introduce the credentials of the speaker, and we'll hand over the charge to her. And she's by background mechanical engineering, which is very rare among females, So this also shows the breaking of glass ceiling. Mechanical engineering graduate from Pune, and she further completed her MBA from SP Jain, which is a very famed global management institute at Mumbai. And currently she's taking care of her company, Messrs. Ask Precision Engineers Limited, in the capacity of director of the company. And her focus area is performance improvement and marketing, which is again very rare to females as such. And they are into manufacturing of high tensile fasteners, critical assemblies, and high precision machining components, which are used in end applications like power generation, mining, oil and gas, pumps, couplings. They have their presence in domestic and global market, with 12 domestic cities they are covering, which includes Maharashtra, Gujarat, Delhi, UP, Tamil Nadu. These are the states which have their presence in the states. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and along with that, 9 countries abroad, which are Australia, Brazil, Canada, Germany, Indonesia, Italy, Singapore, UK, and US. So without making much time, I just want to share that Madam is also interested in Bharatanatyam. She's a trained dancer and a painter too. So just look at the striking, balance between the professional and personal life, and still continuing with her creativity, that is Bharatanatyam and painting. So over to Miss Isha, multitasker, multi-talented. Madam, it's all yours.
Thank you for such a big introduction. It's not that I've achieved much in life. I would like to go much ahead in this journey that I've undertaken. Firstly, I would like to commend Indrashil University and ISC for taking up this wonderful work. What you're trying to achieve is extremely commendable. In India, we are especially in a stage where women are achieving great things. Take the case of Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman or Smriti Irani, who are at the forefront of running our country. We are just trying to run our own company. So it's a very small feat that we are achieving in comparison to what they have achieved. I would like to say that it's not a complaint, but there's something which struck me on the poster that you had done, which said Women Entrepreneurship Empowerment Series. When a man becomes an entrepreneur, we don't say a male entrepreneurship empowerment series, but when a woman becomes an entrepreneur, I feel that we should try to eliminate the tag of woman entrepreneur. It's just an entrepreneur. Anyone who tries to create something new, anyone who has a company, who's running around managing people, managing things, is an entrepreneur, whether it's a male or female. The gender, the caste, nothing matters. And I believe
we second you, madam. We second you. We second you. Thank you, madam.
So I think we should talk about just entrepreneur empowerment.
Yeah, we will take care of the, but the government says that promote more these kind of webinars. And secondly, even they have dedicated last time the entire science day to women scientists. So that is why I agree that gender neutral language should be used. Entrepreneur is entrepreneur.
I'm not I don't object to the language, but I think all of us should collectively work towards eliminating women from this women entrepreneur program thing, because all kinds of people should be empowered. We should try to work towards empowering women and take the women amongst ourselves to such a stage that there's no need to give us a separate tag for that. And I think the work that all of you are doing together can easily help us achieve this in the coming time. I would like to begin my session by giving a small introduction. You've already given my introduction, but I'd like to focus on the details of my background and my upbringing, which will, I believe, give a clearer idea of where I come from. So I belong to a typical Maharashtrian family, Brahmin family, and I've been brought up with the values that education is of core importance. My grandmother was a doctor. Both my grandfathers were engineers. So I typically come from a background where education has been given a lot of importance. And so did my education. It was given a lot of importance. So I believe as women, it's very important that when we have children, we empower them right from the beginning, whether it is a girl or whether it is a boy. You cannot just create entrepreneurs once they reach the stage of 25 plus or 30 plus. It's very difficult to inculcate those values in them then. The business that I am currently a part of, Ask Precision Engineers Private Limited, was started by my grandfather, Mr. Krishna Velankar. And then after him, my father took care of the business. And now I'm the third generation to be taking care in the business. Right since childhood, my parents, my grandparents, all of them inspired me. They did not force me to look after the business, but they gave me a clear idea of what the business was. So I could weigh my options very clearly right since the beginning. What happens is, बहुत बार मैंने देखा है that a father starts the business, but उनके बच्चों को clear idea नहीं होती what the business is. So they don't consider that as an option. They feel it better to, independently start their careers in a different direction, or maybe in the same direction, but to work outside or to work in MNCs. So I feel as parents, as grandparents, and as women ourselves, whenever we have children, we we must inculcate these qualities in the child. We must give him or her the freedom to explore your own business first. Whether to join it, whether to take forward is of course their choice. We should not force anyone to do anything, but this option must be given. And for this, women are responsible. I thank my mother and my grandmother for this, because they never opposed me from doing anything. Right since when I decided to go for my mechanical engineering, both of them, as well as my father and grandfather, were extremely supportive. I believe that parents these days should focus. Oh, am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are, please.
Yeah. So I believe as a woman, if you want your children to be entrepreneurs, or if you want people in the family or around you to be entrepreneurs, those skills need to be inculcated in them right since childhood or right since beginning. So this is my first point, that everyone should start early. That's what I feel. I did my mechanical engineering from Cummins College of Engineering, Pune. Again, it was a women's college. It was a new world for me because I came from a co-educated school. But as women studying together, working together, we were hardly women, we were girls who were just working together. I feel that at that point, the reason why all of us are successful is because we tried to push each other higher rather than take each other down. That is one of the things that we as women should try to push others to achieve more and more rather than trying to create a negativity around them. The third is that when I was about to finish my engineering, I had two options, that I could go for my masters to US, like most of my other friends were going, or to do a management program in India or abroad and come back and run the company. I had already applied with my friends for my GRE and everything, TOEFL, and gotten admission in the Penn State University in US. It's one of the most reputed universities, and I had the option of joining SP Jain in Mumbai. At that point, my father gave me a very good piece of advice. He told me, till now, whatever you have done, it has not affected your life because you are still in the student phase. The decision that you take today is going to affect you for the rest of your life. So whatever decision it is, you take it very carefully. And I believe I'm in touch wood. I'm very happy with the decision that I took. So I did my management from SPJ School of Global Management, Mumbai. It was a tri-city module which gave me a lot of exposure to the industries, the running of industries in other countries as well as in India, as compared, like a comparative thing. What is the culture with which the companies run? What is the professionalism? Because it was a tri-city model, we visited several industries in South Korea and Japan also. And as we all know, Japan is known for its professionalism as well as South Korea is. So it gave me a lot of insights as to how I can develop my family business and bring it to a more professional level. The thing is, what happens when it's a third generation, when the grandfather starts business, it's in a very nascent stage. So it is run in a very homely atmosphere. Slowly, when the second generation jumps in, things start to get a little bit more professional. And when the third generation, by the time the third generation comes in, it has taken on a completely professional kind of setup. And I believe this is how the transformation should happen. So whenever we are working in a family business, we should always try to retain the values of the earlier generation while going on and progressing towards a new and technologically advanced kind of setup. That is what my personal opinion is. And as a woman, I mean, I don't know how to address someone as a woman or as a male, but I'm addressing this generally. Don't give up on your dreams and don't give in, because as a woman, we are expected to do a lot many things. Whether it comes to, when I got married, people around me said that, now how are you going to manage your work as well as your home? But we women are capable of managing everything. And I seriously believe that women are better at management than men, because it is programmed in us. Our brain is programmed to multifunction. Our brain is programmed to multitask. Our brain is programmed to do take care of children, to take care of adults, to take care of older people, to take care of the house, to take care of our work. So if it takes a little bit of effort, but it seriously can be managed. Everything can be managed. And the main thing is, I would request all the girls who are listening to me today, maybe you're in your third year, maybe you're in your fourth year, I don't know what part of life you're in currently, but whatever you want to do in life, please keep your target very clear. What happens is most people who have businesses at home say, I'll do my masters करके मैं वापस आऊंगी एक दो साल के बाद, I'll do a job there दो तीन साल and then I'll come back. होता क्या है, no one comes back. Once you leave your own country, once you get used to a life outside, no one comes back. So please don't leave your roots. Please think about what you want, and after engineering, take the steps which are necessary to take you to your destination. Basically, you should know where you want to go. Your vision should be crystal clear. The journey that you take, you can falter. I'm not saying that everything that we do should be perfect. You can go wrong. Everyone has the right to go wrong, but don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep your destination in mind and try to take steps in order to reach that destination. And the third thing that I would like to request all of the people who are listening is, India is the land of opportunities for the future. So rather than having dreams of earning in dollars, it would be better if you try to invest whatever you have, try to start something, come up with something. The government has also come up with a lot of schemes for women empowerment, for women entrepreneurs. As you mentioned, they want to promote that uh, term women entrepreneurs. They have come up with a lot of schemes. For example, there are schemes like Bharatiya Mahila Bank, and there are schemes like Annapurna scheme, which are who want to start something on their own. So please try to give back to your country what you have received in the first 23 years of your life. And organizations like AIC, ISC, and Industrial University are always there to guide you. I would also like to say this, that if at all you need any help from my part, from my side, any guidance, if you want to do an internship, if you want to get to know how to get ahead, please know that I'm always there. I believe my contact details are there with Mr. Vijo Joy. I'll be very glad to share my details with all of you. If at all you need anything, if at all you want to know more about my journey, how I decided to do this, I'm always available for all of you all the time. But don't give up on your dreams and dream big. Please don't dream small. Please don't dream of doing a job or having a small cubicle in an MNC. Please dream of having your own office. That is what is going to take the country ahead.
Thank you so much, Ms. Isha. Especially, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ms. Isha, especially encouraging our girl students and other women participants, female participants, especially when you said that from very beginning, you have been taken and your upbringing also had supported. This is what is actually required. And we get, accolades also, wonderful talk, ma'am, from Anjana Jadhav also. Now, especially when you said that we should have the blend of traditional values and advanced technology passing from first generation, second generation to third generation was amazing. And we will definitely take care of that to have gender neutral language while using women entrepreneurship. Definitely, because the term is the one, which is now government of India encouraging. So we use it, but we second your thought. And
I would just like to add one more thing.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Once you're done with the basic degree, most girls are given the option of either taking up a job or getting married. I would say that focus on your career first. Try to build it first. Finding the right life partner is more important than getting married at the right time. So this is one thought that everyone needs to change. And I do have one person to thank to, my husband, who's incredibly supportive of me. I continued running the family business, my family business, even post marriage. And now I'm very proud to say that after working in Wipro for almost 11 years as an engineer, he has now joined me in running the business. So we are doing this together, and this is a wonderful journey that we have embarked on. And I would like and hope to see many more people doing the same. I believe this is the truest sense of women empowerment that you can give to anyone.
All salutes to you, madam. Especially we have seen all the while, that females, leaving the job and joining the business of the husband. It is just the other way around, which is highly appreciable. Thank you, madam. Commendable. I think it is well taken by all the audience also. Now it's time for our second speaker. And again, it is imperative for me to share the brief credentials of Ms. Mamta Lodha Kothari, who is yet another speaker with us today. Again, very young, dynamic, and she is by background, she is a NIFT, having bachelor's degree in fashion designing. Then she has completed her FMBA, again alumnus from SP Jain College of Mumbai. And she is now holding the directorship at MB Sugars and Pharmaceuticals. Primarily, before marriage, she was handling MB Sugars and Pharmaceuticals Limited in the capacity of director. And post marriage, she has started, KK Cortex. If I'm not wrong, madam, correct me if I'm wrong. So KK Cortex, she is also understanding that at present. And looking at her background, she's interested in sports also. And from the very school days, she has shown her mettle as a women entrepreneur by asking and designing what you call uniform of the friends and relatives. So that was wonderful, amazing, madam, when I've gone through that. Again, she's interested in meditation also, in Vipassana also. And at the same time, she is doing multitasking, having she's very multi-talented also, handling so many roles, so many portfolios. So without wasting much time, I invite her to speak, to listen from her directly. Over to Mamta, madam.
Thank you, Namrata, madam. First, I would like to thank everyone, including all the ma'ams and sirs and the AIC SIC Institute, for giving me the chance to be a part of the panel here and share my life experience here with everyone. And I hope I can contribute and be a help of somebody, and inspire someone to be that be a women entrepreneur, or let that be a young lady, or even the men, if this is shared ahead with anybody. So I would like to start my session with one quote, in which I would like to share it in Hindi, कि समय न लगाओ तय करने में आपको क्या करना है, वरना समय तय कर लेगा आपका क्या करना है. So we all need to think and decide what we want in life and how we want to achieve what we want it to be. So the path gets chalked out, but first we need to know and understand what we want from our life. So in the short run, I would just like to start my journey right from my college days. So after I finished my graduation, after I finished my 10th standard, I was not a studious person. I was a sports person. So during my school days, I had scholarship from central government for badminton for 3 years. So my priority was sports. So I was not into studies. And then after 10th standard, yes, I started getting a little serious about education, but I wanted to get into arts because during that time, we didn't have much of an option. It was either science, arts, and commerce. So I was more of I wanted a chill life and a relaxed life. So I said, I want to go for arts. And of course, did not get the support from my family. They convinced me and I gave in and I got into commerce because I believe sometimes destiny chooses you. I had some other plans, but life had some different plans for me. So that's where the journey from being an artist or somebody, it changed to becoming a professional entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur. And that was the first step towards it because I got into commerce. Then I finished BCom. Then I wanted to get into market research. So because that was the most upcoming field that time. And I wanted to start my business in that. But then after doing research and understanding things, there was no course available in India for it. So, and my parents, my family did not though we afford, but my family did not agree of sending a young Marwadi girl to USA all by herself by that time because the society was not so open. And me coming from a small place like Malegaon, that's near Nasik. So already working and trying to get something, doing something was a very big thing. So before that, sending a girl out of India was not so acceptable. So my father convinced me to do FMBA, that's from SP Jain, that's Family Managed Business Administration. And I met the professor there, the marketing professor, Professor Murthy. I still very clearly remember my first visit to that college and me trying to tell sir that, oh, I'm not interested in doing this course. I want to do marketing research. And he's like, yeah, your thought is nice. But then the talk we had and the words we exchanged convinced me towards SP Jain more than to going out of India and doing a market research. And then I applied for the course. I gave the interview and I cleared. So that 1.5 journey, which started with FMBA, was a complete life-changing journey. So the course was designed in such a way that we had 1 week college in a month, and 3 weeks you get back into your business and you implement what you have learned. So it was a very practical course. And in the meantime, then I started my journey before I joined the college. So I started my journey working into business, right from the inward outward of all the letters that came in. And so right from making the note of it and sending all the couriers. So my father believed that any person who wants to work into the family business, especially and set up business already. So a new person should be knowing all the departments, should be getting trained in all the departments. So that's where my journey was started, from inward outward. Then I went into marketing. Then I went into factory. I learned the processes. I studied all of those. And then from that department, I shifted to exhibitions, seminars, going out of India, within India, then marketing communications, website development. And then I shifted to new product development. And then so that was an awesome experience of working, me coming from a commerce background, not having a technical background. And then working with these 2 technical people coming from Bombay on Sunday, weekend, Saturday, Sunday, because we were doing lab scale work, developing new products at lab scale. And they would have a very technical language with my younger brother, who was also part of our team. So they all 3 would be the technical people, and I had no idea about technicalities. I would not understand. But that was a very big challenge, and trying to understand how to overcome that, so that there's no gap between me and them when we are working together. We have to be working on the same platform. Otherwise, I will be left behind, and I could be a hurdle to them, or they could be a hurdle for me. That's where I realized that, I have to learn the tack of asking questions, and asking the questions in such a way that they don't get offended, but I get my answers. And that's where I learned the tact, and I learned, with mistakes, I corrected myself, and I learned how to ask those right questions and get the information from them. And then slowly, we did end up creating 2 new products at the lab scale, which was successful. And today we make those products, manufacture them at the manufacturing scale. So we have 2 new units for them. So it was a successful trial, but that was a very good learning experience. So similarly, when I got into the business of learning from department to department and understanding. So in the starting, me being the daughter of a owner, I was very much welcomed. So it was not a hurdle. But the hurdles and the problems started only when I started taking decisions, and then the implementations had to happen. Then you get to hear all the, words, all the people talking behind your backs and what they think of you. And you were so happy to think that, no, you're welcomed. Everybody likes to talk about themselves or give you ideas, or you're welcomed. But then, okay, that was a time when I was trying to learn from them. And now it's when I've learned and I've understood things, and I have to get them changed, or I have to get some decisions to be implemented. Then that's where, अरे ये लड़की इसको क्या लगता है, ये अभी कहाँ से आ गई, ये क्या हम पे ऊपर आके हमारे ऊपर बैठेगी क्या, बॉस करेगी क्या, कि बॉस बनेगी क्या. And when you hear such words, they are heartening, of course, because you've worked with them before at a different mind level, and you've tried to understand that business from them. And now certainly they have a different perspective towards you. So that was also a process of trying to turn a deaf ear, but still trying to get the work done from them without they, becoming your enemies, or they could be more willingly coming and helping you out with the work, or coming and giving you the right information. So that was another learning task. And of course, over the period, right from this 18 years of journey that I, like 17 years I had in MB Sugars. So when I was in the start, I was welcomed as a trainee, jo aayegi seekh ke chali jayegi, then starting of implementation from one department to different departments, to even till like last year or 6 months back, when I was given new different roles and trying to work with different people, different departments, right from the top management to the seniorest person to the youngest person. You can face all kind of negativities or all kind of blockages, which are an awesome learning experience. Without that, a person cannot grow as an individual. Because if you look at them as problems, which I believe are not the problems that only a woman faces, it's even the problem with any other men also. So being an entrepreneur could be a little more challenging for a woman, because she has with another angle of a home also to be looked after. But otherwise, it's not much more different and not less or more difficult than a man, according to my point of view, which I could be wrong as per other people, not necessarily everyone agrees to it. But and secondly, which I've even heard a lot, like, from different people, that going into cities or big places or going out of India helps you a lot in, or have a bigger leap in your growth. That is from one aspect, but it's not only about money every time, because I come from a very small place like Malegaon, and at that time in 1990s, when there was nothing there, and it being a Hindu-Muslim riot place and very famously known as Mini Pakistan, in that time, at that place, if my parents could do, if my father and my uncle could create an industry with nothing, and reach the world, I believe we all can do that from any corner of the world. And that time we did not have internet also. Now though, we are very much blessed with internet, with the globe coming down to a screen, we can just approach anybody anywhere right now. Like I'm talking to so many of you without not even knowing you or seeing you all. So everything is possible today. And we have so many supports in so many different ways. And technically we are way too ahead. It's just how we look at it and how we want to balance it in our life. So coming back to my journey, it's like 2 years back, I was given another role of, I was told that we want to get our company, that is MB Sugars and Pharmaceuticals. We want to do an IPO because we are a limited company. So we would want to go for an IPO. So I had no clue about what an IPO was. I started doing my study and research, and then understanding the business and what is needed for that. I found there were quite some lacunas that we as a company had to go through, have to upgrade ourselves or set in a few more systems and places, few more, more gaps to be filled in between. So that's where I met many consultants, many advisors. And so in the meantime, I had my father, who was my mentor right from my college days. And so me and my father, we would sit, discuss, and understand the issues. And over the years, we both came to a particular mindset level where we could work together with less words, Our understandings were pretty good. So we understood that there's something that our company needs to do is get into the goals, the company goal, which was not written down, which was known but not written down. So get the company goals into place, get the individual goals, the managers, supervisors. So I did meet some people, advisors in that also, and consultants. So we got into the process of creating a company goal sheet. So we created a vision for 2025. That's like about 2 years back. And then creating the goals of the top management to achieve that goal of company, and then the key managers' goals. So getting or penning down those goals and giving the weightage to these goals, and then taking a monthly review on that. It was a very challenging task than what was expected, because that's where we realized everyone would not like to be having their goals penned down, and it's like unko face pe batana pasand nahi hai. They don't want to be measured against it. I'm very good in talking. I have done this, I've achieved that. But when you put it down on pen and paper, no, it's not welcoming because it's very challenging and they have to prove it of what you have done in all numbers. So all the numbers were put down and what percentage of growth you're doing month on month, what are the achievements that you're doing month on month had to be, the data had to be collected and presented in front of the company, all the management and the key persons. So it was a little challenging. First 6 months were, and then slowly, what we tried to do was set this system in an auto mode in such a way that the charts would get created. So I tried to link that into Google Drive and Google Spreadsheets. So as I was working on this whole, in the meantime, I got engaged. And so I had to find some more people who could handle this. And so it's been working pretty okay. Like I understood after I got married, it was they were not taking any review for 3-4 months, but then later on, they have taken 1 or 2 reviews in the last 2 months that I understand. So before the goal sheet, there was one more thing I realized was this, we being a family business. So my father and he had his 2 brothers. So, and that was the first generation who started that business. And we second generations coming. So it was a 3 brothers company to the next 3 brothers and 1 daughter and 1 daughter-in-law who are working. So from 3 people, it became to 8 people. And all of them being the key personals now, because you're all the owners. So in the long run, it could be difficult how the company works or sustains because there could be conflict of interest or the workers could be confusing because everyone could be giving a different decision. So we tried to create a family constitution. So I did meet many consultants in that, and we hired 2 consultants for them. And within a year, we had many activities with our joint family where they started from meeting one-on-one to every family member and me being the coordinator for them between the 2 sides and me being the family member. So me also getting interrogated at the same time and giving them the guidelines. So we created the family constitution of the present scenarios and what are the business values, what are the family values which will not be compromised, which are the, the strengths of the family that we look forward to. And first thing, if we all want to be together, so which the next generation said, yes, they would all want to be together. So which is a very good point in today's world, which not everybody is so keen in. So we decided to have our future growth plans and create our constitution from family. So we had 3-4 committees created under them. One was one was the council, which would govern the 3 committees below that. So we were the 3 members who were voted out to be the running the council. And then we had an outing committee. We had a family education and investment committee. And then the 3rd committee, which was created, was the welfare of charity and everything to be done. So they were all members who were voted for all the other activities. So the traveling, the fun committee, they had to celebrate everyone's birthday, all the family members' birthday. So it was decided like every day morning, whoever's birthday it is, that day morning breakfast will be at their place. So we start the day with all the family members having our breakfast together and celebrating the day so that the families bonded together with fresh mind in the morning. And then they are free to do whatever they want in the day. They could be having their time with their individual families or they could go out with friends. And then monthly 1 or 2 activities of going out for movie, the whole family will go, or maybe a dabba party, and once or twice in a year go out on a holiday for 3 to 4 days, nights. And so like we did that one activity at Mahabaleshwar. So even these, my father's sisters and they all were also called. So it was a get together, you have good time, enjoy, and they would decide the budget. So my father being the head of the family, he was the head of all the committees. So all the approvals had to be done. And there was a review system decided for each committee, which would be put in front of the council, and the council would then give it ahead to the chairman. And the family, the education system. So as the education is getting very costly affair day on day, So the committee would, and the kids, the next generation, the third generation kids growing up, so they have to make sure that whatever education, let that be today or tomorrow, whether that be in India, outside India, so all the money arrangement funds have to be taken care of from that point of view. And the third most important point is of charity and funding. There are many people who come to ask for funds. So the company will have their share given to all the three parts. I mean, the one particular amount given decided to all the three, the top first generations. And then they would decide which would be the prior approval of council of where to donate and what amount. So a percentage amount was decided and the working of the three, so that there are no future clashes and there are some systems set in place beforehand, so that it helps in working smoothly with not a headache of family front issues. But when a person is not occupied with family issues, he's free to run the business in a much better and a healthier manner. And this is how we created the constitution, the goal sheet at the company level. And one very important point I would like to add before I just wind up is when I was doing SP Gen and we had this 1 week college and we were given assignments. So the assignments we had to implement in our businesses, which we had to submit online or with the timelines. So I got my father as my mentor. We would discuss this. Each assignment we would discuss, which helped him understand and grow to what we were understanding and learning with the next new generation thought process. And I was understanding what issues and problems they face in their practical lives. So the gap between the two generations would get reduced. He would come to our level and we would go to a little bit to his level. And his guidance, his thought process is understood. Otherwise, usually what we see is that first generation and second generation don't gel well. They usually have clashes of fights. So this helped to bridge the gap pretty much. And which I've even noticed that if a task or if some project is given, what we do is we usually discuss with our peers or with our friends or somebody close to who is close in our family. But what we could do is discuss that with our colleagues, our friends, or our age people, then some with juniors. And of course, the most important is to take the guidance and opinion of the seniors. And then when you get an idea from all the different angles, is then because you are the final decision taker. So then you have a perspective from many different angles, which you alone cannot think. And then you can make a better decision, is how I look at it. And I hope I've added some learnings and given some value addition to all of you, which I would just like to end with which if you hear it, you could call me more greedy or something, but I feel the most important fact when you are into business is you have to be very professional in your thought process, and money is what rules the business and the professional life. So I would just like to end with this one para is, पैसा एक ही भाषा बोलता है. अगर तुमने मुझे आज बचा लिया, कल मैं तुम्हें बचा लूंगा. पैसा फिर कहता है, भले मैं ऊपर साहत नहीं जाऊंगा, पर जब तक मैं नीचे हूं, तुम्हें बहुत ऊपर लेके जाऊंगा. And I hope you all agree with that. And so just thank you note to everyone, and a piece of advice to everyone is, don't have patience when you're in business, but have patience in life. Thank you.
Yeah, obviously, we all agree with that. And conflict of interest and the application of academia into industry, and the first generation and the second generation, all that stuff, was very well, explained by you, shared with our audience. And for the sake of audience, see, the link is shared with you for the feedback, which can lead you to generation of e-certificate. So please see to it that you fill in that feedback form. Now, there were so many things, which I wish, I could have, said and could have reflected, but time, constraint pressurizes me to invite Mr. Vijay Jo, who is the coordinator, and he is the CEO of our startup cell. So I invite him, who is actually CEO of AIC IAC Foundation at Indrashil University for the brief introduction of innovation and startup cell at Indrashil University. So Vijay sir, you are invited for the same.
Thank you very much, Namrata madam, and also giving a small highlight for all our participants. In front of this big country, we have a lot of other tasks to do other than just going for a salaried job. So anyway, you both have given a small road path for our participants. Apart from that normal salary job, there are other opportunities, and you also shared your coming up from the childhood towards this. So now let me just take a few minutes just to showcase that what we have in our bag to support all the participants to have some idea, and probably that idea maybe just started, or maybe going to get started after seeing this event, and also get inspired by the speakers today. So let me just share my screen. Let me share my screen. Is it audible now? Sorry, visible now?
No, not yet, sir. Yeah, it is visible, sir.
That's right. Okay. So I'm not taking much time to explain what Indrashil University and other tasks, because Bharati madam already given a very brief introduction about Indrashil University and the courses that we have and the partnership that we have for the further studies and so on. So now, what is there with us for supporting to the people who are having? I'm not giving any tagline as women, but those who are having some idea to be an entrepreneur. So we can always welcome to our university, and we have 3 different phases or 3 different levels by which seeing your idea, how we can accelerate to the next level and to the next level till you are in a sustainable business model. So as you can see, or you already seen that in presentation done by Bharati madam, that we have as different stages. We got the recognition as well as the grant support from different government, like I can say state government as well as the central government. We now have 3 different platforms. One is the initial platform that we can say, that is the SSIP. It is given by the government of Gujarat to support our students to bring up to the next level with some ideas and give nurturing them from being just a student, how they need to start think about the programs and the ideas to develop to become an entrepreneur. Because in the student stage, we cannot expect everybody to think about business at that moment. May some have some ideas because of the family background or whatever, but it's not necessary that everyone who is having this idea have that exposure to understand how the business is all about. So our system is like that, to nurture you from the very beginning stage to see your idea is a perfect idea that can be growable, and what are the other nitty-gritties need to be done so that your idea can be flourished further to make it more success. So that the initial stage is that we are coming up with the SSIP, that is Student Startup and Innovation Policy, which has been given by the Gujarat government through Gujarat Knowledge Society. And most of the every institution in Gujarat, we can say around 90% of the institution, whether it is an ITI or diploma or we college or university, they have this particular opportunity to take from the state government to support the students to empower themselves from a student perspective to an entrepreneur perspective. But at the same time, it is student oriented. There are some limitations in terms of the support that is extended towards developing an idea towards a final business model. So that we have another level Am I audible now?
Yes, you are
Yes,
audible.
I think I got disconnected in between.
Yeah.
So let me just share again.
Only for a second, few seconds only you got disconnected, sir.
Okay, so not missed out too much. Okay. So let me just take the next level. That is, I was already gone through SSIP fully, and the next second level is to get more connects to the state as well as national level support, apart from the two state government support in terms of the student as well as the other community that we have all around. So that is what we call the Adult Incubation Center, that is supported by the NITI Aayog, the Adult Innovation Mission, directly under the central government. So this is more on to the more higher perspective of any programs, not just only for the students. We can also get the applications or ideation from a person who want to, or a team who want to really focus on to create such a great impact on the society, or maybe a new things that can be more productively for the existing system, or maybe for the industry as well. So that it is not necessary that you need to be come up with a product as such to be an entrepreneur in this scenario. So it can be, the idea can be something like a service that you want to provide for an existing challenges that we're facing today, or maybe some kind of process that can be extended to the existing processes, or maybe to the industries, or it can be purely any product or service that you can segregate, I mean, focusing on a particular section, or maybe a particular domain where you can have your own skill set. So when you look at the each separate support that we are having, like as I told, every single platform has got their own limitation in terms of the fund as well as other what you call the volume of support that is extended to a particular session. So if it is student, for example, it's a university student, then of course we can take them initial level under the SSIP to support maximum of 2 lakhs rupees to convert their idea into a proof of concepts, or maybe a prototype they want to do. And in between, suppose if we find that this idea can be novel idea, there is nobody having this kind of idea, then we can also try for applying the patent or any IP related activities under that, so that this kind of support can be done in the initial stage, that we can say it's a pre-incubation period that we call to support our own students. But in case suppose the entire things is different, that means the applications or idea is coming from an external person, that means they are not our own student, or maybe coming from a team, or maybe an employees of somebody, or maybe somebody who is working in some other company, they want to come out and start their own business or whatever. So in that case also, basically what they are facing at that time is basically 3 things. One, they need to have a space as their office, and secondly, the finance, and then thirdly is the space where they need to do some R&D, or maybe some physical development of their idea into a prototype, or maybe the final product. So that these 3 are taken into account, and we have come up with a working space, or we can say incubation center as such, to provide all this 360-degree support from the ideation of that particular stage towards the final sustainable business for the person. So in that, we can have 2 different platforms to support this general category. One is that IUIC, is supported by the Industries Commissionerate, the state government of Gujarat, and second is the AIC, that is Adult Incubation Center from the central government. Now under the Industry Commissionerate or IC, we have different kind of financial support. Like if any startup who comes with an idea and coming under the under our incubation center, and we've been approved that to be, and then we can ask the state level committee of this IC to support as a supported startup under our institution. In that case, they will be getting a monthly sustenance allowances from this IC around 20,000 rupees per month. And if the team is having at least one woman founder or co-founder in it, it becomes 25,000 per month. The same way, well-being assistance in social impact. अगर ये जो आपका आइडिया है वो सोशल इम्पैक्ट में आता है, देन आपको 10 लाख का ज्यादा, I mean नॉर्मल जो होता है 30 लाख होता है, लेकिन अगर आपका आइडिया या जो प्रोसेस है या फिर ये जो सर्विसेज है जो भी हो, वो अगर सोशल इम्पैक्ट करेगा या फिर ये some special area of concern or special domain of concern in the regional area, then there will be an additional 10 lakhs support, or and above this 30 lakhs will be given. In उसके अलावा अगर आपका जो एम्प्लॉय या फिर आपके जो फाउंडर्स में किसी को या सबको कुछ स्किल डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर जाना है, तो फिर आपको 1 लाख या फिर ज्यादा 3 months और 4 months का प्रोग्राम में जाना है, उसको एक्सेलेरेशन प्रोग्राम बोलते हैं, उसको आपको 3 लाख तक वो सुविधा मिलता है वो जो इंडस्ट्री कमिश्नर के साथ. Now, keeping the entire thing apart from the local or we can say state government support, we have also the central government support as mentioned. There are around 180 adult incubation centers all over India. And in Gujarat, we have 5, being 1 in Surat and 3 in Ahmedabad and 1 in Mehsana, that is us. And we have, as I told you, this has been supported by the Adult Innovation Mission, the Niti Aayog Government of India, for the support of any ideation stage to the acceleration stage, giving even initial funding support towards the final seed investment in a bigger amount like 2 crores and so on. So this is the quantum of the assistance from under this particular scheme, where the initial support as a kickstart, just to start your business and so on, there will be around 25,000 rupees. And also in case of, as I told you, we need to find out some of the IPR filing assistance, then there will be up to 20,000. And then apart from that one, and if the idea comes to a stage where it is a movable, minimum viable product, or we can say shortly we call MVP, then we can think how this is going to impact the social and how is going to leverage the next level. Then we can start doing the investment from 25 lakhs to 2 crore, depends on the kind of the product or the service or the process. Now, what support that we are giving from our side as a university to hold, or we can say hosting this incubation center, we have 2 kinds of spaces for them, as depends on the kind of idea or development that they want to do. One is just only an office space where they can get a space where they can utilize as their own office with their employees for the limited number of periods, or as per the agreement that we assign, depends on the kind of idea to be developed. Or if it is that they need a kind of dedicated lab in terms of life science or healthcare based ideas to develop, where your confidentiality need to be taken care. So in that case, we have an office with a dedicated lab, so that the lab as well as office is coming under you as your own office. For again, it depends on the kind of agreement that we do, depends on the ideation period that you are coming out from the idea towards the successful business model. So it may be 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, whatever that we'll see, depends on the kind of process that you need to go through and the time or the duration that you're going to take to make sure that you come to a final stage. And then as a whole, if you look at that, we have 3 different platforms, so that we have good enough funding opportunity that you people can take it from us, like for a kickstart support up to 1 crore, and then investment support up to 5 crore as a seed investment. And then we have a great team, not only the internal departmental faculties or mentors, but also from outside. That means we have a good industry connect as well as the government department associations who are ready to support all our incubators in wherever, whether it is marketing side, whether it is a finance side, or business side or human resource management, or even technically on that particular idea that you're bringing up on the domain, we have a good vendors pool from where we can support them wherever it is necessary. And we also have the tie-ups and partnerships with other networks in terms of the angel investors and venture capitalists or even corporates, so that we can make a lot of fundraising or pitching events, so that if any such startup who required more fund than what we can do as seed investment can attract these investors to invest money into their startup to the next level.
Vijay sir, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. We are overshot of time, sir.
Yeah, I'm just concluding this one now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as I mentioned that we have good support as of now. We have around 17 pre-incubates who are currently going on. And then we are actively supporting 8 startups and 2 are already commercialized. And then we have 21 members, as I mentioned, from different sectors. And then, of course, we can proudly say that we are the only incubation center having a NMR lab in the region. So this is the process we normally do take. When we're coming with the ideation, we see how the idea can be worked out and we do some training. And then we mentor you and startup support. All, as I told you, 360-degree support in terms of networking, in terms of marketing and market reach, finance, and so on. And then finally, you can accelerate. So this is just only our partners from different sectors to support in terms of finance, in terms of training, in terms of mentoring, and then for corporate fund and so on. So you can reach out us, and this can be shared later as well also. And then further for more details, you can reach out of this one. Thank you. Over to you, Mamta.
Thank you, Vijay sir. Now we can add, sir, in industry partners to more companies. One is Madam's company, Ask Precision, as mentors. As well, we have 2 more, MB Sugars as well, KK Protects,
definitely,
with permission from the directors.
They already, in principle, they are already in our portal now.
Yes, sir. So it's, I was looking for the questions, but questions are not there. But certainly I have one question for each with Isha madam and with Mamta madam. कि ऐसा एक फीमेल का जनरली टेंडेंसी होती है कि उनको बोला जाता है कि यू आर मेंट फॉर दिस हाउस होल्ड चोर्स ओनली. तो आपको कैसे दिमाग में आया कि मुझे बिजनेस में जाना है? ऑफ कोर्स फैमिली ने सपोर्ट किया, एजुकेशन था तो ये तो था ही, साथ में कभी ऐसा गिल्ट हुआ कि आई एम नॉट एबल टू बैलेंस वर्क लाइफ? दोनों के लिए है, दोनों अपने हिसाब से आंसर देंगे.
Would you like to go first, Mamta?
Madam, we can start with Isha, going with the alphabetic.
Enough.
Yes, Isha.
So basically, for every child, I believe that the father is the first hero for every child, I feel. So my childhood hero was also my father. I'd seen my grandfather doing the business. I'd seen my father doing the business. And I'm an only child. So like Mamta said, that we were a big joint family. There were a lot of people who would carry the business forward. It was me or no one in our condition. So I was determined to make my parents and to make my grandparents proud, because I'd seen the hard work that they had put in to make the business from a small manufacturing unit in a very small space to a big organization wherein we are exporting to over 8 countries now. So I wanted to make sure that even though I was a daughter, I want to break this shackle that daughters can't do what sons can, because daughters most definitely can excel as well as exceed what sons can.
Yes.
So right from my childhood, I was determined to be like my father. And what was my father? He was doing business. So I wanted to do business. So it was a very clear idea for me from childhood that मुझे ये करना है, ये घर का है, मुझे ये आगे बढ़ाना है. I want to take it ahead. And after marriage, yes, it becomes difficult if your family is not supportive. But touch wood, I was very lucky. I found a very compatible partner and a very compatible family. My family also supported me. In fact, for the first 3 years of our marriage, till the time like when Kushal was working in Wipro, we had different holidays. So I used to get my weekly off on Thursday, and he used to get his weekly off on Saturday, Sunday, because he was working in an MNC. So basically, I believe, yes, family is important, but the most important thing is to have a good understanding with your partner. So, and the second thing is to ignore what family, not ignore completely what the family says, but to ignore the negativity that your family can bring in your life and try to be positive. So I and Kushal, we worked around our timings. On Thursdays, he would come in early. On Saturday, Sunday, I would come home a couple of hours early, and we would manage. So it's all about give and take. About household chores, yes, it is the primary responsibility of the woman according to the Indian mindset. But I believe that mindset is also slowly changing. And as an entrepreneur, we are capable of delegating work in our offices. So why can't we delegate work at home also?
Yeah, I take it, delegating skills, should be learned by women. Otherwise, they take it everything on them. Yeah,
Yes.
over to Mamta Madam for her views on this.
I respect what Aisha has to say, but I have a very different scenario at my end. So I never had aspirations of being a businesswoman or anything. Wanted to be a business. I wanted to be a sports girl. Like I had a scholarship for 3 years. I wanted to continue that and be the youngest badminton player in the world because I was the only girl child getting scholarship for badminton in India from central government. But like I say, sometimes life has something else in store for you. So during my last, like in 10th standard, I had some allergic problem due to which I had some issues with my eyes. I had boils in my eyes. So I couldn't give, like I'm selected for nationals. I could not give my nationals. I could not play for my nationals. And I had to actually give up my 10th standard board exam. And I had to wrap my bags and come back home. And that's where it was just a 1 month for the boards. And my mom realized that I would be wasting a year. So we somehow shifted the whole from Pune University to Kolhapur University and this and that, changed the whole thing and got a writer's permission and, so that I don't waste 1 year. And that's where the importance of education started ticking in me. And I started becoming a little sincere towards studies and education. And touch wood, finally, just before the exams, a day or two prior to the exams, my eyes were okay. So I didn't need the writer, but I just cleared my exams. I didn't expect much, and I was happy with my 60% because I didn't expect to pass. And then the changes over my father and me not agreeing on the terms of my education and the field that I would want to go from commerce, like art to commerce, then doing market research to FMBA, then doing the course during FMBA and getting into the business. And my father, even while we were doing our BCom, from Malegaon, he would keep telling we daughters, like we all sisters also, even my uncle's daughters, like, छुट्टियों में time pass mat karo, chalo काम office में आके बैठो. And I was the one who stayed there. Everyone just did 2 or 3 days of it. So I did not know I had the knack of it or a liking for it. But I think my father knew it better than me. And then he just nailed it into me. And I did not know there were so many business skills in me and I had the liking for it. And I just stuck. So it's been like 4 months now that I'm I got married on 31st October 2020. So this is like 3.5 months now. And so before the process of meeting and all in the lockdown, so that was during that we did like my husband, he was very understanding, and we did discuss about like I could not say conditions, but yeah, I did request for 2 things, that I would not like to give up on my exercise and my meditation. And he himself knows that my work background was been working for 18 years now. So even that was a little understood that I would be doing a work a little bit remotely. And so I'm just starting like trying to strike the balance between home and work, and try to strike the balance between personal time, family time, and professional time. So planning to going for 1 or 2 hours to office to factory, and maybe we looking after the new projects, the new business that we want to set up now. And as time and things permit, it's my in-laws coming from a very narrow mindset, and like I'm in Jamner now, that's near Jalgaon, so more small and a remote place than Malegaon. like as I said, I believe you can reach the world from anywhere you go in. So the place and the time doesn't stop if we are clear and the people and the family supports us. So we're looking for new projects that we would like to start. So giving my contribution, sometimes from work home if needed, go to factory, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. And that's what my mother-in-law is very understanding. And my two sister-in-laws are very understanding. So, and we are about a family of 25 members here. So, which is a, I love that. So we have a full house. Like in this one house, we are 14 of us, and my elder Babasa and uncle's families also. We all stay in one compound. So it's full house with all the supportive people, all always looking up to the positives of others and trying to be there for each other. That's how I could say I'm the odd one out in the family with all the supports from them.
Wonderful, amazing. There was one case, on one hand, on the left side of mine, there was a case of self-motivation for being an entrepreneur. Here was the external motivation, wherein you have been imposed upon. That's great, wonderful. Now it's time quickly to invite Amish sir, who is registrar and also handles the portfolio of Dean, School of Engineering, to tender vote of thanks and his concluding remarks. Over to Amish sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Namrata madam. And I would like to thank Isha madam and Namta madam also for sparing their valuable time. And at the same time, I might be a odd man who is giving vote of thanks on the eve of women empowerment issues. So I don't know how to express, but I always admire women empowered. The reason being, in benefit of my students, I will speak in Hindi because they are more familiar with the Hindi. तो एक चीज यही है कि आप घर पे भी मैंने अपनी मम्मी को देखा है, अपनी वाइफ को भी देखता हूँ. मैं स्पेशल एग्जांपल दूंगा आपको ये लॉकडाउन का. लॉकडाउन के टाइम पे सारे घर पे बैठे थे. एक ही बंदी थी जो घर पे पूरा दिन काम कर रही थी, वो थी हाउसवाइफ. कि आप सबका काम बंद था, ये था, लेकिन सुबह उठे आपके लिए वो कुछ ना कुछ गाढ़ा बनाना है या कुछ पिलाना है या फिर विटामिन के लिए कुछ तैयार करना है, खाना बनाना है. बर्तन वाले काम वाली भी नहीं मिल रही थी तो वो भी सारा उनको करना है, कपड़े धोने. मतलब सुबह से लेके रात को 11 बजे आपको दूध पिलाना है, वो वहां तक का पूरा काम. हल्दी वाला दूध बना के दे दो, तो सारा काम वो कर रही थी, कोई छुट्टी नहीं थी. So that shows the multitasking begins from home itself, and that is in the habit of women, and that's why I admire them कि उनके पास जो ताकत है, जो काम करने का जो एक नजरिया है ना, वो हमारे पास नहीं है, मल्टीटास्किंग का. आप किचन में उनका एग्जांपल देख दो, एक साथ 4 आइटम बनानी है विद हाफ एन आवर दे कैन डू. इफ वी हैव टू अटेंड 4 मीटिंग्स इन अ टाइम, वी कांट. So this is what the kind of skill they are having. I would like to thank Isha madam for explaining, giving self examples, and one very nice thing what she told, that you could be modern, you could be independent, but don't forget your culture. So keeping your culture with you, you can go ahead. Modernization doesn't mean leave everything. Western countries are, adopting the best part of Eastern countries, and what we are accepting, we know all these things. So in the name of modernization, we should not forget our, great culture, our great history. So, and multitasking and independence is but obvious nowadays, dream of each and every woman. And yes, Mamta madam, what you said, I believe in that. Training, even in the family business from the ground level, it is very much essential. Unless and until you understand the ground level issue, ground worker mentality, you cannot rule on them. So it is very much essential. Then only you can be a successful entrepreneur. And you both are very good examples of entrepreneur. I must salute SP Jain, because from there women entrepreneurs are coming up. So I have to learn, I have to study their success story here, what I mean to say. So thank you all. And over to you, Namrata ma'am. Thanks again.
Thank you, Amish sir. And I take the privilege of thanking both the speakers today, Ms. Isha Velankar Rao, Ms. Mamta Lodha Kothari, and Bharti madam, who seems that she's disconnected due to net issues, Amish sir, Mr. Vijay sir, our technical team, that is Mr. Anuj, Mr. Shashwat, and indirectly, directly, all those who have contributed to make this event happen, especially the audience also who have been patiently listening to us, and certainly to the management and provost of the university. And thank you, Amish sir, for respecting women. And that is how, we are brought, we are recognized that yes, we are multitasker, we are micromanagement level, managers. So thank you so much, sir. And Jai Hind.
Madam, you can see, even if you see the picture of Durga Mata or any other 8 or 4 hands are there, but if you see any male deity, can you find out 8 hands? No, do only.
Sir, when this thought is changing, perhaps, India is going to change. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes,
and we'll progress one day.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vijay, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, everyone.
Yeah.